The male body parts can drive men to do some crazy things, but Meikyuu definitely takes the cake. We have the successful purchase, apparently, at this point, but I was a little bit let down. I was really kind of expecting something more to come from Alan in regards to this transaction that happened. I was kind of mentioning it to my brother at some point. I was curious, and I was okay with him confirming or denying it, but curious if Alan had specifically chosen Meikyuu, or maybe Roxanne had chosen Meikyuu, because it really does seem like Alan went completely out of his way to make sure that Meikyuu had the opportunity to get Roxanne. And yes, technically pulling him to the side originally could have been an indication of that. But my theory was that Alan, seeing Meikyuu, going, oh, this guy may be able to take care of Roxanne. Like, Roxanne's special. It seemed like this whole show is portraying Roxanne as being this very special thing. I mean, even when Meikyuu is going through the red light district, he's mentioning the idea that none of these women will be as beautiful as Roxanne. Like, Roxanne is his thing. And like I mentioned in the previous episode impressions, curious if they would ever get to a point where they would make it a little bit more complicated than the face value, that this guy is in another world and he's just trying to get money to buy a girl. More in the idea that she is something special. And that driving force, that thing, drove him to the point of risking his own life and taking out all these bandits, which, again, is taking a life. But unfortunately, it didn't turn out to anything, at least so far. Maybe down the road, Alan will reveal that, I got this next girl, you want to get this girl? And it turns out to be this thing where he just trusts Meikyuu. He didn't want to give Roxanne to just anybody. He kind of seen something in Meikyuu that this guy would take care of Roxanne. Like, he sees something special in Roxanne, and Meikyuu could take care of her, rather than, again, giving it to some random dude that just wants her for her body, which technically Meikyuu did too. But it doesn't shy. It's like it has a little bit of chivalry in there, but it's not. Like, it could so easily drive into the realm of Meikyuu's a good guy, and then you're like, no, Meikyuu's not really a good guy. It's just a really messed up world, and he's less bad than anybody else. That's really, I think, when it comes down to it, the very end, like, the only defense that I can have for Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World is he's in a world that's terrible, and he's less terrible. Like, it's like, yes, completely different story, but talking about, defending Mushoku Tensei Jabba's reincarnation, it's like a thing of, well, obviously the writer said he's supposed to be terrible from the very beginning, and he's supposed to get better. Whereas this case, it's just that he's less terrible in a terrible world. So anyways, yes, this episode, mostly just him kind of trying to figure out how he's going to take down the bandits. And honestly, truth be told, quite a boring episode for that segment. Like, it was like this really, and granted, I give it credit for Meikyuu taking the opportunity to really prepare. Like, he didn't just want to run into this location and just go willy-nilly. He needed to find out, where the bandits are, where the base is, do they have connections elsewhere? Everything around the idea of, when I finally do attack, I want to make sure that I know how grand of a scale this can turn into being, which is kind of what I was getting from it. And yes, technically, at the point of actually going in there and doing it, kind of utilizing his knowledge of Hugo, which they are tied to figure out how to get in there, which, yes, I don't know, you could probably chop it up as him having understood what he was doing, but part of it was kind of away from his plan. It seems like it's in his plan, but it's not in his plan. Yeah, getting in there, that went dark. And I kind of, it's a very uncomfortable scene, but at the same time, it did really well in kind of laying out the effects that it would have on him later on. Now, granted, it just kind of throws it away very quickly and moves on, but it's similar to experience that he had in the first episode. Him realizing at some point, I just took out a bunch of people. And him thinking it's the mana. Like, I must have depleted my mana. No, my mana's maxed out. No, I just did something terrible. But it's all for this game. Like, it tries to clean up afterwards. But yes, during this whole scenario of him taking out all these bandits, it's, like I said, it's showing a lot. I'm not sure what's going to show in Crunchyroll's side of things, but the uncensored ATX version, it's very, I don't know, the way that it's portrayed is very disturbing in a way, because it's almost like he's just slicing through melon. Like, he's got this really sharp knife and he's just cutting off parts. Like, oh, let me cut this neck. Oh, I covered it up so it doesn't make any noise. Okay, let me get this hand, and it just kind of slices right through it like a hot knife through butter. And at the time, he doesn't really think about it. And then, oh, here, somebody hears it and comes in. Oh, just chop this off. All right, good. We're there. Ah, crap. I can't get the other hand. I better get out of here. It's too much. Leaves. It's just, he's very casual about it. And like I said, everything he does is kind of like slicing up vegetables. And it just doesn't play out like a way that it should, like horrific. Until afterwards, when he finally dawns on him, yeah, I'm not depleted in mana. I just went to the Labyrinth, got my MP back up, and I'm still feeling bad. Why is that? Oh yeah, I kind of just killed a bunch of people. But I guess the only thing that helps him get away from this so quickly, because it does seem pretty bad that it goes from realizing he's taken out a bunch of people to, oh, well, got my money, better go. How do I turn in these cards? I need to turn in my money. It's because he realizes at some point, this is how this works. Again, the whole thing with Roxanne, this is this world. So if I don't buy her, somebody else is going to buy her. And I kind of want to buy her. Similar to the situation of taking out the bandits. It's not like they have police in this world. They have guards, but it's not like they have police, detectives, and stuff to go out and find people. This is something that's an issue here. He even talks about at some point when he's doing his reconnaissance, these people take over the night. Like when the night happens, the bandits come out, the party, they take over the streets, they guard the streets, they control the streets. They don't have like the police. You don't just go to the police and say, "Hey, there's a bandit over here." They don't care. The guards may react, but their job is to guard and protect the people. They're not interested in just rushing down and seeing if this person is a guard. And they don't know. There's no way for them to know. Meikyuu knows because he's able to identify people, but nobody else knows. So he's kind of chopping up it as like, this is kind of a thing that has to happen. Like, if I don't kill these dudes, somebody else will. And I need this money. And again, somebody else is going to buy her. Might as well. It's always, yes, this show is overall trying to go for a fun, fantastical thing. Get the harem, get the hot Roxanne. But it does feel like underneath, at least, there is a lot of discussion regarding how much this is the reality of this world, and it's a terrible world, and I'm just going to take advantage of it as much as I can. Maybe not be that reason for being a terrible world, but at least partake in it in a way that's a little bit more positive. Like I said, the lesser of two evils. It's already bad. I'm just less bad. Yeah, after going, it was funny because when he goes to the place to turn in, he has to make sure that he doesn't run. I don't know why I didn't say it. Like, I just don't want to run into that crazy lady again. No, he ends up finding the other guard that was there. He takes the stuff, identifies it. I had a slight thought in my mind that it was going to turn out to be like when he goes to identify, when the guy identifies Michio's card, it was going to show up as like murderer. Like one of the people that came out was actually not a bandit. Like he identified wrong, or maybe he just didn't identify somebody else that came out that he sliced. And turns out he became a murderer. But that would make things way more difficult for him to get Roxanne. But I had a thought that in the back of my head. But yeah, yep, they're bandits. Here's your money. Peace out. And yes, he goes to get Roxanne finally. So yay, victory achieved. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. Goes there, gets their transaction done. Alan's like, yeah, I knew you'd pull through. I knew you would pull through. Let me go get her for you. Brings her in. And yes, she goes, oh, I'm sorry. Unless you can forgive me, you might want to stop this transaction. I failed you. Like, I lied to you. And he's like, oh, crap. What is she going to bring up? What is she just doesn't want me? What is the thing? And then she's like, I doubted you one day. Like, I thought you weren't going to come get me. Roxanne's being too pure. She's too cute. But again, it went into that thing where I was like, I wonder if it's going to mention, like, oh, she's not actually pure. Or what if it was going to do something really, like, nasty with it? But no. Just trying to be Roxanne's adorable. No, this is honestly the very first part of this episode. I felt it was rough. Like I was starting to get a little fatigue about what they were doing with the show. But honestly, now that we have Roxanne in the party, I'm really interested to see where this goes from here. Because again, my mindset is he going to, now that she is his thing, is he going to be able to use this ability that he has to apply skills, maybe even jobs to her, to help boost her in combat? I'm really curious. Honestly, the big question mark is where to next. Like, again, is Alan going to come around the corner and say, I got this other girl, Sherry, or I got this other girl, and she's ready to be bought too, so get back in that labyrinth, or go start fighting some more bandits. Or if it's just immediately going to turn into Bed Roxanne, or let's try out Roxanne in combat. She's obviously a beastkin, she's a fighter. Let's see what she's capable of. And again, maybe that's going to be playing into the next buy is, okay, let's get in the dungeon and let's start getting further in that labyrinth, because now I have Roxanne, which I can benefit her in some way, and she can become my sword, basically. Again, shield hero thing. She's my sword. The other question is, yes, my assumption is that he will get back into the Labyrinth with Roxanne at his side. But again, the other question could be, is he just going to keep focusing on bandits? Is he going to say, you know, look, I got my reward. I don't want to risk this anymore. Continuing to fight bandits is going to get me killed. Now that I have Roxanne, I can relax. And now I can start just hitting at the Labyrinth and getting stronger and going deeper and deeper in the Labyrinth. I think that's where it's going to go. I kind of feel like he's done with the bandits for now. If anything, it'll be one of those things where, yes, somebody realizes that Meikyuu was involved with this killing of all these bandits. Somebody finds out from, you know, the guards that, you know, some whispers, somebody pays somebody in the guardhouse to find out who turned the cards in and then comes after Meikyuu. But we'll see. But yeah, that's my thoughts on episode 3 of Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the episode, or if you're going to be checking it out and you've been holding off on it. For some reason, it seems like the video's coverage of Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World seem to be doing well, so I guess the fandom is a little bit thirsty and they like... like these videos, so I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying deeping in, and again, technically feeling as if I'm overthinking a lot of things, but it's still good to think on the stuff and really kind of theorize in the end. Additionally, if you've not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. I appreciate everybody that supports us, and y'all take care.